Assalamu alaikum.
Assalamu alaikum. Wa alaikum salam. How are you?
Alhamdulillah, I'm good. How about you?
Alhamdulillah. So I think today's topic was, talking about tenants and landlords. I think I have the experience of being a landlord back in Hyderabad, not as a tenant,
Right.
and staying in hotels and stuff. I don't think that comes as a tenant. Obviously in Canada because I'm new here. So right now I've been staying as a tenant and I've experience with two landlords, so matlab dealing with them. So and you obviously you have been living in Hyderabad as a landlord as well. And mashallah, you have been dealing with a lot of,
Inshallah.
uh, I would say, tenants. So you can share your experience. So you want to go first or what?
I think I'll start first because mine would be, I think, quicker.
Okay.
But also, just to start, just to mention quickly, obviously, we were young, but we were tenants back in Saudi as well. लेकिन वहाँ पर
Yeah,
the जो भी setup था, it was very much professional, and the buildings we lived in, it had its own offices and everything. So our parents went there, they, gave the thing. And also just to mention, if you know Saudi mein, nowadays, I think in the middle, in Dubai, they have started in Saudi also maybe, like in beginning where it was yearly rent, it wasn't a monthly rent
right.
basis.
So what I feel, I think yearly was pretty good, I guess, because
Yeah.
it wouldn't put a lot of, क्या कहते हैं, we say जैसा बोझ कहते हैं ना on your mind. Not that kind of load on your mind that every month you need to get money out of your pay. But anyway,
Right.
even if you're paying annually, you still have to keep a part of your salary or your
True.
pay from to for your rent if you're renting.
Right.
So anyway, it works the same, but yearly is you only have to pay once in 12 months. So you don't have that pressure of,
Right.
getting the money out every month. So yeah, but
Right.
the main reason I see that making it monthly is to, if it is monthly, obviously the pricing will be a bit higher than if it's yearly. If
Yes.
you take yearly, you get an annual discount or, you don't get, you don't, it is not specifically mentioned, but it is obviously if you calculate it, there will be obviously it will be much lesser than what it is monthly right now. So,
Yes.
but and especially in Saudi, as you mentioned, we were kids that time. So I never knew what happened. Parents would pay the rent, alhamdulillah, and
Alhamdulillah.
never got to know what was going in the background. So, it's better not to talk about what was back then because
Right.
now we are facing, when you are facing the real thing, that is what
Right.
matters and what we can share. So yeah, go ahead.
Sure, that's why I just quickly mentioned it. But yes, Alhamdulillah,
Right.
we didn't have any pressure on us then, but now we are facing it. So we've been like you said, landlords for after we came back to India. Otherwise, before that, we only had one house, the old one, if you remember. So it was just living. मतलब कि we were on the upper floors. One of my uncles was on the ground floor. तो वो टाइम पे जब बाहर थे सऊदी में तो उतना सोचे नहीं, किए नहीं, बस खुद के लिए बना लिए थे। यहाँ आने के बाद से व्हाट वी डिड, माय फादर परचेस्ड अ न्यू प्रॉपर्टी, आवर करंट होम व्हिच यू हैव कम टू। तो पहले इट वाज जस्ट अ ग्राउंड फ्लोर, दिस ग्राउंड फ्लोर बिल्ट अप, सो वी परचेस्ड दैट एंड वी गेव दैट ऑन रेंट। दैट वाज द वेरी फर्स्ट एक्सपीरियंस एज अ लैंडलॉर्ड।
Hmm.
And that was pretty good because those tenants were really good, giving the rent on time and paying the bills and everything. But later, when we moved here, then we gave the old house on rent. वहाँ पर unfortunately थोड़े काफ़ी बैड एक्सपीरियंसेस रहे, स्पेशली 1 से 2 टेनेंट्स के साथ। लाइक नॉट
Mhm.
पेइंग द इलेक्ट्रिसिटी बिल और fighting to because initially since it was our own home, we only had like 1 or 2 meters. We did not have 1 meter for each section as such.
Right.
तो उसमें क्या है, अब वो कहाँ से मानते 50-50 करने का, नहीं मैं कम चलाया, मैं ज़्यादा चलाया बोल के वो बहुत
Mhm.
इश्यूज़ हो जाते हैं। हालाँकि वी आल्सो गॉट अ सब मीटर, इफ यू नो देयर इज़ अ सब मीटर व्हिच कैन बी डिवाइडेड, लाइक द सेम मीटर कैन बी डिवाइडेड इनटू
Okay.
2। तो वो बहुत ज़्यादा अनफॉर्च्यूनेटली बैड एक्सपीरियंसेस थे। एंड रेंट के लिए भी 1 से 2 खाली, सबके साथ नहीं। बट वंस
How
वी
did you solve these issues?
I solved them. I called that person to our home. I called our elders, one or two जो भी थे। So वो लोग जो है बात किए, कराए, बहुत वो सब हुए, लेकिन एंड में एक पर्टिकुलर टेनेंट के साथ इट वाज़न्ट सॉल्वेबल। नहीं मैं यहीं हूँ, ये हूँ, कैसे रहते बात मैं कहीं जा रहा हूँ क्या, मैं आपके पास ही हूँ ना, दे देता हूँ ये वो बोल के, मगर एंड में हुआ नहीं, उसको छोड़ भी दिया हम लोग। क्या कर सकते हैं, कितना बोल के पीछे पड़ेंगे।
Right.
So that was one
How
bad
much was the
experience, and
amount?
electricity bill was pretty high. I think it was 20,000 or something, or 15,000 के आसपास था वो।
Mhm.
तो थोड़ा काफ़ी था, समझ लो अमाउंट। एंड इवन रेंट भी घर का जो थे
Okay.
उनका, आई थिंक 7 या 8,000 पर मंथ था। इट वाज़ अ स्मॉल पोर्शन, बट इवन वो भी काफ़ी टाइम से ही डिड नॉट पे एंड एवरीथिंग। हालाँकि जब
So
आई-वाफ़
in
अच्छे
the
से
same
बात
way he
किए
left it.
फिर, या ही लेफ्ट इट जस्ट लाइक दैट।
So matlab he just did he inform you guys or just left without telling?
No, no, it didn't inform well, because we were living here, and this I'm
Okay.
talking about after my father passed away. So it was just me and my mom.
Uh-huh.
So uncle,
Oh.
uncle थे, uncle was looking into it and all. But
Mhm.
कितना भी वो करो, अब we didn't want to get into police or call any gundas as well, because there were some
Right.
people that suggested कि अरे if you want I can call you, but we didn't get
Yeah,
involved.
in those things, what happens is, you lose, first of all, you lose your peace of mind. And the second thing is, uh, more than coming, you have to spend money, you know, you have to spend
Yes.
money for those guys. If you're going with, the authorities, then you have to spend money, uh, you know, uh, for everything you'll have to spend money, and then in the end what will happen, the same result. That guy, as he did not pay, he won't be able to pay again. And everybody who you involve, be that the authorities or the goons, they will only say, at the end, do compromise and don't lose your peace of mind and move forward. So it's better not to
Right.
involve anybody and try to compromise or make an understanding with that person. So yeah, basically, you may mention a good point. I will, if you are done, I'll share my experiences.
No, when we moved to this property, we built the upper floors, second floor, वहाँ उसको rent पे दिया, and then we have a plot nearby. But अभी जो tenants है, they are good, time पे किराया तो दे रहे, बट अगेन इलेक्ट्रिसिटी का थोड़ा-सा एक दो टेनेंट के साथ थोड़ा-सा इश्यू हो रहा है वो, अरे हमको इतना ज़्यादा, और हालाँकि वी हैव स्प्लिट एवरीवन कि भाई दिस इज़ ओनली फॉर योर हाउस, जो मीटर है, तो
Right.
बट स्टिल दे आर
If there are
एजिटेटिंग
separate
और
meters, still there is a problem. That's what you're saying?
या दे आर स्टिल दैट सेइंग कि अरे बहुत ज़्यादा आ रहा है, मतलब आप जितना जलाए उतना आया, भई हम आपका कुछ भी हमारा अमल दखल नहीं है इसके अंदर। बट
Right.
आज ही जो है नए ये लास्ट मंथ के बिल्स आए, तो फिर आज ही जो है इवन द इलेक्ट्रिसिटी गाय केम एंड ही वार्नड कि आई विल क्लोज इट अप, मतलब आई विल स्विच ऑफ द करंट विल गेट। So I told that person and he said, "Okay, okay, okay, I'll look into it." Anyhow, so
Mhm.
that's the typical what as landlords we face. And also one more thing, because I guess because I live in the old city, So you have seen you know, my house. You have seen the, divisions and everything. Like, जो flats है. So
Right.
I'm pretty sure, as per your experience, from where you live in Mehdipatnam, काफी अच्छा रेंट आना चाहिए ये इतने बड़े उसका
Right.
प्रॉपर्टीज
How
का.
basically, अब जैसा, if you're looking at Mehdipatam, the rents for 2 BHK have gone to about 20, if 20, and even if it's a new building, I think good facilities, it will go to about, including maintenance, it goes to about 23, 24, for a 2
Yeah.
BHK.
Yes.
So, and for 3 BHKs, it can go up to 30. So there is a lot of potential, but obviously it depends on area. So, for example, if you go to Banjara Hills for 2 BHK, you'll get it for, I think, 40K, 45K. This is I'm saying for just a normal building. If you go to a high-end building, then it can be much more, obviously. So yeah, it depends basically on the area and what is in the surroundings and what is
Yeah.
what people can uh, get from those locations. So and that can lead to demand as well. And obviously, when you have the demand, you can ask whatever rent you want, right? Almost, and people will be ready.
एग्जैक्टली
So,
एग्जैक्टली बट वो इज बिकॉज ऑफ माय एरिया आई थिंक यहाँ पे जो है ना, एक तो ज़्यादा रेंट नहीं पूछ सकते, और वो सर्च करते करते एंडिंग में क्या होता, जो भी एक अच्छे मिले, चलो नहीं नो अच्छे है दे देंगे इनको बोल के वैसा होता, समझ लो. But
right.
I'm not saying any in a wrong way, but I'm just saying that, in a worldly matter, that this is what happens usually in being a landlord, and especially in these areas. So yeah, that was my short experience. Now, Bismillah, you start.
Uh, like you mentioned correctly, but like but there are advantages of staying in the old city as well. You don't miss out on the good,
Yeah,
authentic Hyderabadi food. So, and you don't miss out on a lot of things, a lot of drama,
right.
uh, which you can only found, which you can only find in old city. So anyway,
Right.
moving on. So actually, I'll share one instance of which I actually didn't experience, but my dad had experienced. So he had bought a
Mm-hmm.
flat when he was back in Saudi itself. So my uh, grandfather, my nana, he used to look after that, like what's going on. And in those times, I think it was 90s. The rent was about, I think, 1,000 rupees or something for a flat. I think it was 85 to 90, I guess. 1985 to 1990, and the rent was about 500 to 1,000 rupees, I guess. So back then, this one guy, he took the place for rent, and he was running some kind of an institute. Okay.
Uh-huh.
So, and back then, and you may remember, and you might have heard from your relatives or something, that if you keep a tenant for a longer time, he can even claim it in court that I don't have any place to stay. This is my I've been staying in this house for like 5 to 8 years, and I don't want to move. And there were some rulings in that era that the court would actually remove the real owner and make that tenant to stay there without without any rent. So those
I
were the
heard about
things
this very
back.
recently.
Yeah,
It is some way or the other. It is, I think, still there, or it is coming. So
right. So you have
which
to,
right.
legally you have to make a proper documents properly whenever you're renting out your space. So you have to properly document it so that you don't get stuck in this. But anyway, uh, that that matter went to court actually. That matter went to court, and my grandfather, he used to visit at on all court dates. And finally, that due to some document issues in his submissions, the tenant submissions to the court. He made some minor mistake, and the
Okay.
complete case went in our favor, and then he was evicted. So that was done, but it stretched upon like about an year and a half, because he was so confident
Mm-hmm.
that I could oust you guys, the real owners, out of this place. Um, and basically, I think our laws back then, or I'm not sure what are the laws right now. It really favored the tenants, even if they were wrong.
Okay.
So that was the case. And more recently, I would say there was a flat where this guy, he was working in a hospital. It was a family, and they were staying there. I was dealing with them. So, and he was giving the rents on time and everything. COVID hit, and obviously, uh, nobody was getting pay, or people were getting paid, but they were getting paid not on time, and they were also
Right.
losing their jobs. So this guy, he also lost his job, um, but his wife was working, but they were managing. But then suddenly, what happened for about 6 to 8 months to a year, he stopped paying rent. He
Okay.
just stopped paying rent completely. So, and the once you stop paying, the rent starts piling up, and the amount
Right.
uh, grows exponentially. Actually, what happens is, uh, if you see, if you don't pay for a month or two, what happens when it adds up, it becomes much more difficult to pay that huge amount than if it is monthly, right? It is much easier to pay it off monthly and then get it done. But so this amount went up to about, I guess it was about 1.8 lakhs or so. And uh, I wasn't pressuring. I knew because COVID had just passed, and obviously
Okay.
we need to be considerate as human beings first of all. So, and I was just being patient and moving along, but it was just getting beyond control. That the most important thing was, I was getting worried that the amount was getting bigger and nothing was coming. It was just piling up, right?
Right.
So I had to, like, after an year from COVID, like about 18 months from COVID, I was like, everyone has gone back to work. Everything is open. All the businesses are open. Everything is open. Now you got to start paying. And then
Yes.
some way or the other, sometimes 15K, sometimes 20K, only after a lot of messages. But still, because when he was paying this 15K, 20Ks, still the months were moving forward, right? The days were
Yes.
moving forward, and the next rent was still piling on. So
Right.
I was like, we have had enough now. Now I want you to, vacate the place. That's it. Because I don't need this getting piled on me. And apart from that, I was getting complaints from the neighbors. It was a residential area. So I was getting complaints from the a neighbor that this guy is running kind of a mess, like a food mess.
Okay.
So a lot of people are coming here to have meals, and then they're leaving. Like, if you invite somebody, the party, you will have parties twice, thrice, or, 4 times a month. Not more than that. Not everybody, every day, a huge number of people come to our house. So people
Yeah.
understand that neighbor is living around. So they had called up that, there's something going on, like he's running some kind of a business out of there. So that was another issue. So I told him that, I need you to vacate immediately. I was like, you pay off the money and vacate. He was like, I don't have the money, but I'll write you a check. I'll write you a check, and I'll sign it off, and I'll give it to you as a proof that I'm paying you the amount. I'll let you know when it is ready.
Mm-hmm.
So I think it was about 1 lakh of rupees that it was pending. And but finally, after much insistence, he vacated the property. So that was really good that he vacated. I was first of all, happy that he vacated, and we got back the possession. So after that, I was hopeful that he would pay back, but no. After a couple of months, not even months, after a year, I contacted him. He's like, I'm still in trouble. I won't be able to. I'm trying and all that stuff. I waited 2 years, and after that, I submitted the check in the account. So in the bank. So the check, the check, it did not bounce. I guess they mentioned that the account is itself is closed. You know,
Okay.
so the guy, you cannot blindly trust people. So
Right.
I took the check. I thought he was being very honest. But this guy, he gave me the check and he closed that account itself. So, uh, so anyway, but the even then he was in touch a little bit, but I knew this was not going anywhere, and you had to just forget about it and move forward. Because
Yeah. Yeah.
getting people involved is there, but most important thing, I spoke to a lot of people in the real estate and in the renting business, and they told me, like, the most important thing, you should be happy that you got your space back and you are renting it again and you're using it, you're enjoying it yourself, right? So
Right.
he's gone. That's good that he's gone. Forget about him now. Leave that, whatever amount is there, leave it. It is not much. Just forget about it. So that was one experience. In coming to Canada, obviously, when I came here first, here what we check is the credit history. When you go for tenancy that you want to take a house
Mm.
for rent, they will check your credit history just to understand that will you be able to pay the rent and will you be able to pay it regularly every month and all that. The credit history basically shows because basically everyone uses a credit card here. Um,
Yes.
uh, Nobody, likes to keep debt, but especially Muslims, if they are having a credit card, they'll obviously use the credit and then pay it off before the date.
Due date.
So you won't get any interest and stuff. Yeah, most of the people do that. But so when you're paying your dues on time and everything, your credit report and credit history, it's that rating is really high, and that shows the landlord that this guy pays everything on time and he will be able to pay my rent as well. So when I was coming here for the first time, I obviously did not have any history, right? So it's difficult for anybody who doesn't know you to trust you, right?
Mm-hmm.
So,
Right.
when I first came here, I searched on Marketplace and I got a person. He was from Pakistan. He told me that okay, because he was looking for a family who could rent a place,
Mm.
who could rent his place, and but he was only obviously very hesitant on how to give it to a new person without knowing the history. And so the only option he gave me was, you need to pay rent uh, 4 months upfront, you know,
Uh-huh.
up 4 months of rent upfront. So that's the only way that, and I'll have to give um, uh, monthly checks written, checks with monthly dates, and give it to him in advance at the time
Okay.
of moving in, so that he doesn't
Okay.
need to get checks every month, right? So whenever the month ends, he'll go and deposit. He'll have all the 12 checks and he'll just deposit it every month. So that was how
Okay.
I got my first house here in Canada. So basically, and then obviously, also the reason the landlords here are a bit on the, they are always wary because the tenants have a lot of rights here in
Right.
Canada. There is a landlord and tenant board, and the landlord and tenant board, it basically they favor the tenants, I think, way more than the landlords. So the landlords are very wary of
Okay.
tenants over here. I think it's much more than what it is in India. So tenants have a huge, I would say, advantage, but you shouldn't be taking undue advantage of the advantages, because at the end of the day, for example, for myself, because I never think to take undue advantage because I have been in the shoes of being a landlord. So I know how it
Right.
affects you, how it affects the peace of mind and stuff. So I'm like, you just got to be neutral, and what you agreed on terms in your agreement, just be on that, and that's how you can be peaceful, and the other person can be peaceful as well, without having
Right.
any issues. Because if you try to break any of the, uh, agreed rules and stuff, that affects the entire scenario.
Mm.
You'll have a lot of back and forth. You will have a lot of uh, arguments and stuff like that, which takes a lot of your time. I think we are in such an age now that 30s and 40s, that we want to have more time which is useful, and which is being used in a proper manner rather than
Right.
using it in unwanted discussions or arguments. So I
True.
usually try to, whatever the issue is, how easily can it be solved, and just solve it and finish it off rather than
Right.
growing it. Obviously, in teenage or in college years, it was just the opposite. Like, you wanted to take up fights. You wanted, not physical fights, I would say, just even in words, or you wanted to take it up as a challenge, and you wanted to go ahead and argue and stuff like that. But now it is not like that. I think you change with your how you grow. You once you grow old, you become wise as well, I guess, in some ways or the other, as our elders tell. So I
Yeah.
think, because it's just a waste of time, right? And it's a waste of energy as
Yes.
well. Uh,
True.
because once you get into that, then your mind entirely will work. How do I respond to this? How do I, how do I handle this? Rather than putting all our energies on what we need to achieve and what productive things we need to do,
Right.
all our energies will go into that. So that's basically one thing that I have made up my mind, that, things which do not need my time are not worth my time. I won't be giving it to that. So,
Right.
uh, obviously, everybody has their own priorities. I think if I am uh, feeling that my time is worth for spending with my family or with my children or for my entertainment or for my own health,
Mm.
then that is worth for me. But for another person,
Right.
his time might be worth for other things, right? So it
Yes.
depends from person to person, but uh, each person should analyze that for himself, what is productive for him, and do it accordingly. So getting into issues with tenants or landlords, that's not worth my time, and not worth my peace of mind. So I don't want to get into that
True.
much. So I try to solve them as soon as possible. I have
Yes.
also, you already know that I have also done uh, Airbnbs. I have
Yes.
hosted a lot for 5 years, and that was a good experience because those are short-term rentals, so it's best
Yes.
and it's fun. It makes a lot more money uh, than just renting your place out, and it takes a very little investment. So let's talk about this on another day. I think you were also discussing that you wanted to start an Airbnb.
Yes.
So we'll share. I'll share my experiences and tips, what I have experienced about that.
Okay.
So I think we're good for the day now,
Yes.
and uh, let's get back tomorrow with another topic.
Yes, we'll do that. Absolutely.
Take care.
You too. So, Allah Hafiz.
Love us. Love us.
If you liked our discussion, make sure to like, share, and subscribe, and follow us on Instagram.